Dejon from the Two Man Wrestling Podcast. As you can see, once again, I am alone on a podcast. Will is on holiday again. Don't worry, guys, I will be on holiday soon. This is exactly what happened in June, but it is fine. It is okay. The man needs a break. I need a break. We all need a break. However, it's not going to lessen the episode today because we have had an amazing week of wrestling, purely for the fact of mainly one person and a couple of returns here and there. But it's been really, really, really good. I will give you a disclaimer right now. We're not going to do top 10 or blind rankings. Seeing the fact is, I have no one else here with me. I've only got myself. But it's still going to be an amazing episode because I've got to give the people what they want. I've got to be the people's champion. No Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. But anyway, hope you're alright. Hope you're good. Hope you enjoyed Clash in Paris. Hope you enjoyed Raw and SmackDown. And we're going to get into it. We're going to get in a bit of news as well. So it's going to be a good little light podcast today, but surely will still be enjoyable as ever. But I think we should start, obviously, with SmackDown. Should we start with SmackDown? Yes, start with SmackDown. And obviously, SmackDown started pretty well. We had a great promo from John Cena. He gave very genuine words. He's basically describing about his retirement tour. And he made a good point out to basically say that Chicago is the best fans in the US. Best fans he's ever witnessed. Best fans in the US. Had a whole story about WrestleMania 22 when he had a match with Triple H. They were there. His debut was in Chicago. He said he's going to really, really miss Chicago when he retires on December the 13th. But that was not all. Cena was obviously giving his, "Oh, I love you, I love you." And then we heard a, oh, which obviously, if you're a WWE nerd like me, Sami Zayn came out. The US champion Sami Zayn came out. It was quite funny because when he came out, there was boos. There was a lot of boos. There's a lot of cheering for Cena because Cena's just hyped up the Chicago crowd, basically. And then Sami Zayn's come out, and it's literally a crowd full of boos. A load of boos. But as he's describing more, the promo's going more. And I by the way, they did acknowledge it. Like, I could tell they acknowledged it because Sami was stopping talking midway whilst he was doing the promo because he was getting the fan reaction. I mean, like, but guys, I'm a babyface. Why am I getting booed? But he was getting booed. But he made a good point that he wanted to basically give his appreciation to Cena. And the only way he could give his appreciation to Cena as US champ is to introduce the Sami Zayn US Open Challenge. A similar thing that Kurt Angle gave to John Cena when he first debuted. And then, obviously, we've seen Cena in 2015 more did a US Open Challenge, which saw popular names like Sami Zayn, which Sami Zayn did bring up in the promo, seeing people like Kevin Owens, Rusev, people being able to fight against John Cena, fight against probably the GOAT, if not the GOAT. He basically was like, well, John, my one gift I want to do to you is to give you an opportunity, give you something that you gave me, and that would be for you to challenge me on SmackDown. By the way, his final SmackDown is his last SmackDown, which is pretty sad. It's his last SmackDown. And he was like walking off, being like, what? And the crowd loved it. They loved it. They were hyped for it. They were riled up for it. They were like, oh my God, we're going to see Cena in a US title match. First time in a while. And that's basically the nuts and crannies of it, because Cena, of course, said yes. You think Cena's going to turn down the championship match? Of course not. And we got a Sami Zayn Cena match, which is a really, really good match. I thought it was really hard hitting. Bless Cena, you can see he's got the age a little bit now where he's slowing down, but even then, he was still incredible wrestling. Obviously, Sami Zayn was a great person he could have as opponent. Sami Zayn's, again, when it gets to the end of the career, I hope he's obviously won a world championship by the end of his career, but He carried that match with Cena. It was incredible. I mean, we love to see it. And yeah, it was pretty all self-explanatory. It looked like Cena was going to get the win. And then we heard a certain sound, a certain theme song. The Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar, came out. And there was only ever going to be one thing that happened when Brock Lesnar came out. The same thing we saw at SummerSlam pretty much happened here. Brock Lesnar came in and destroyed Sami and destroyed Cena. And obviously the match then ended in a no contest because of the Beast Incarnate absolutely destroying two great wrestlers of the game. And that kind of hyped up the match that Brock Lesnar then announced, which would be Cena versus Lesnar at Wrestlepooza on September the 20th, 8 days away. The last time, I don't know how much I can believe one last time when I've seen Rock Cena twice at WrestleMania, but I think it actually probably will be the last time, and it's fair dues, to be fair. Two wrestlers that come up together, two wrestlers that probably have a lot of respect for each other, two wrestlers in OVW, two wrestlers that have got to SmackDown together, both reached the massive heights that is WWE, being multiple time world champions, both of them, being basically box office main event players at many different times during the WWE Vince alarm era, and obviously the Triple H era as well. So yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good match at Wrestlepooza. I can't wait for it to happen. My predictions early on from that, I'm not going to tell you because we're going to have another video about that at some stage. Either me or Will do a preview about it at some stage. So yeah, incredible stuff, and I cannot wait for that match. The next match on SmackDown was Aleister Black versus Damian Priest. Again, they're continuing this feud. It is a pretty decent feud. It's giving them something to do, both of them. We'd love to see it, you know. And it actually started off pretty good. So Priest tried to fight Black, and Black basically knocked him down with a kick. Black was sent Priest into the ring, and then the referee, Ryan Tran, basically started the match. And yeah, it was a pretty good match. Again, always groove hitting stuff with Aleister Black and with Damian Priest, to be fair. They're always giving hard hitting strikes, slaps, punches, and you know, it's fantastic stuff. I love when it happens. I'm always a brawler guy. I like a strike, so I like a striking type of match, and that was exactly it. One thing that was really good about the match is we saw Priest trying to give a razor's edge on the table to Aleister Black. The table didn't break because, of course, tables don't break. I am the table. And obviously, the ref then tried to do a slow count. Priest put Black back in the ring, and then Priest basically grabbed Black, grabbed the referee's shirt, shoved him into Ryan Tran, the referee, and the minute Priest was distracted, Aleister Black hit him with the Black Mass spinning kick, which I've said before, and I'll say it again. It's probably one of the most gruesome looking finishers in WWE right now. It's always been that for me. When he was in NXT, when he then got into the main roster, even in AEW, that finisher looks brutal, absolutely brutal. And that Black Mask led to Aleister Black picking up the win. It only was about 10 minutes, which I think that only needed a 10-minute segment. It only needed a 10-minute match for that. But they fit a lot in, and it was still really, really entertaining. But yeah, it's a really, really good match, and I'm glad to see that Aleister Black got the win. The next thing we saw was a promo between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre. It was like a little feature film thing where basically Randy Orton featured in the video. So was also Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre was like, I don't care about anyone. And then obviously Randy didn't fuck with that. And he was like, basically, piss off. Drew said actually that Orton isn't the kind of man who can pull a trigger. Clearly this man has not seen 2009 Randy Orton. He's not seen Menace Randy Orton. He's not seen Bold Randy Orton. He's not seen the start of the Viper Randy Orton, because that one was a menace. He was a menace. He was destroying people. Even if he wants to be head punting Cena's dad, head punting Vince McMahon, head punting Stephanie McMahon, destroying Triple H. I remember that feud. That was such a good feud. But yeah, he obviously doesn't know Randy Orton. He doesn't know him. He does not know him. And then he was like, Orton basically went, Drew, you don't know when I'm coming for you. You don't know. You really don't know. And that's what I love about Randy. I think it's just a credit to Randy is throughout these eras, especially being a Viper era, he just looked deadly. He just looked so deadly. And to be fair, he did not see that coming. And then what happened then was Randy doing a and it hit the RKO with Drew, basically. He said he would knock him out in reality, and when he hits him with the RKO, it's going to be game over. I love when Randy does that and destroys wrestlers. It's fucking fantastic. It's so really good. And basically, yeah, that's leading up to a match that we're going to see tonight, actually. We're going to see Drew versus Randy tonight. I can't wait for it. It's going to be a very hard-hitting, brutal match again. I love when these two wrestlers come together, and it's giving something both of them to do, really. Randy, again, dominant as ever. Drew can be vicious sometimes. Both like former multiple-time world champions. So yeah, let's see how this match goes tonight. I think it'll be really, really good. I think it will kind of blow the roof off, but we'll see how it goes. The next thing we saw was a promo, and the promo was between Tiffany Stratton. She was interviewed by Kathy Kelly, and basically was like, Tiffany was basically like, Jade's running her mouth too much. She can't beat her. The talk stops this week because we're going to see tonight the WWE Women's Championship on the line. Tiffany Stratton's going to be versus against Jade Cargill. A rematch of SummerSlam. And yeah, Jade basically was having none of it backstage. She was watching it, obviously, on the TV backstage. For some reason, Nia Jax got involved. Don't really know why she got involved. She's not like most girls, but she's be any girl, right? Situation. But she basically said that she deserves a title shot, and Jade Cargill didn't. Which, to be honest with you, I can kind of see, because what have they both done to validate it? I mean, Jade was obviously Queen of the Ring, and I got the opportunity against Tiffany. Obviously lost because, Triple H is backing Tiffany to the moon. And she basically was like, if you basically want to fight me, Jade, fuck with me. And she wasn't all for it. But there was a caveat to it. There was a caveat. Jade also said that if she does win the Women's Championship, that Nia Jax is next. And then basically, Nia Jax got a wish from the promo, really. It was like, yeah, well, I ain't got an opportunity, but you do. Because you do, I want one. So what I'm going to do is, when you eventually become champion, I'm going to get my shot. Which, fair enough. I think it was an okay segment. I'm talking about it probably a bit too much. But it was an okay segment. And it was just building hype to, obviously, tonight's match, which is fantastic. The next thing we saw was Mission versus Julia. And it was actually for the US Women's Championship. I think, personally, Triple H and WWE Creative have been actually listening to a podcast. Because, my God, we're seeing title matches on SmackDown. We're actually seeing matches on SmackDown. It's incredible stuff. Like, what? Especially after weeks of me and Will ranting, being like, you've got to make SmackDown more interesting. They made it more interesting. They made it way more interesting. And we ended up seeing a US women's title match. And it was really, really good. Well, it's as best as they basically could make it. They worked hard to try and get it to slap. It wasn't slapping. It wasn't good in terms of the fans' eyes. I thought it was an alright match. Generally, Julia, do like her. I dissed her earlier before, couldn't even say her name. Julia, apparently. And I think that, obviously, her pairing with Kiana James, because Kiana James did join her for the entrance and was giving a good heel heat. We'll explain later in the match. And it gives them something to do. It gives Julia, that bit more like, yeah, she's a good heel. Because I think she is a good heel. Since turning heel, she has been pretty good. I just need to see her on TV more. That's the only thing. But how basically this match went is, trying to get into it. It was a fairly short match. But Kiana James hit Mission with a giant purse, and basically James punched Mission a couple times after the match because Julia won. And I didn't see it going to be any other way. I think the presence of James was really good. It was really the reason why Julia won the match. It's the only reason why Julia would ever win that match, really, is with that presence. That presence behind her. That's how it happened, really. And Julia did win that match. She stays the US Women's Champion. And I don't know what her next steps are, really, Julia. I think, again, it's the same thing with the IC title, which we'll get to later, the Women's IC title. Just like, there needs to be more story. But with time, they'll get more story. I think you just need the right wrestlers to fit the right category for it. And I do like Julia. I think Julia is a great talent, but she needs something to just literally latch on. She needs a storyline to be like, yeah, you're it. And we're just still waiting for that. We also did see a segment between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss with the Lily doll, because, that's still a thing. After, obviously, the attack that Flair got last week, from Chelsea Green and the Secret Service. Bliss had a little nice Lily doll and basically check on Flair. And they really bonded as friends. And this is becoming a believable tag team. I think it was believable. I think I started to believe it a bit more when we saw basically the celebration of their friendship and giving the cake and giving the doll and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really good to see them carrying the tag team titles. It's giving them something both to do. And they're going to clearly continue this feud with the Secret Service. And I assume it's going to be a match at Wrestlepalooza. If it's not announced, it will get announced sooner to the time. But good on them. And Chelsea Green, Secret Service, gives them something to do as well. Because what is a piping event? But then we went on to probably the favourite part and the best part of SmackDown. It was promo from Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins was basically in the crowd, major heel heat. But obviously everyone was still singing a song because everyone low-key still loves Seth Rollins. And that was not only that, he was basically bigging himself up and bigging up his wife, Becky Lynch, for helping him keep his title at Clash in Paris. Obviously, if you haven't watched it, you should watch Clash in Paris. Seth couldn't have anyone at ringside in terms of Braun or Bronson or Paul Heyman at ringside. The Vision were ejected for their Fatal 4-Way match for Seth. And he called in a favour. Seth called in a favour, and the favour was his wife, and his wife Lobo Punk, and gave him the win. And it's kind of still building to something like this. And obviously we've seen a couple of weeks, we've seen Becky basically taunting Punk, slapping him in the face, like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And yeah, this added something, a bit more heel heat when Seth Rollins brought out Becky. Becky did, my favourite part is Becky did a little dig to Kobe White of the Chicago Bulls in Chicago. Massive heel tactic, massive heel heat, fantastic stuff. I can't lie, I think Becky just needed something different than the Lyra Valkyria stuff. I think she needs something different from the Bayley stuff. And this was it. This was exactly it, because we're getting a good Becky right now. And yeah, she's basically in the ring. Basically like, what is Punk? Punk's nothing. He's not my husband. Punk was having none of it though. And Punk came out. And as he came out, by the way, can I just state, this whole SmackDown, this chant was happening. And I'll get to it in a second. But yeah, Punk came out and was basically like, I'm not going to put a hand on a woman. Of course not. I'm not going to put a hand on a woman. but I know someone that who will. And as soon as that happened, everyone went, the volume raised up in Chicago. And the next thing we heard, for the first time in about 10 or 11 years, AJ Lee is back. She is back. We hit the Light It Up theme song. Everyone went crazy. Probably one of the biggest pops I've seen in the last 10 years. It was a huge pop, a massive pop. And AJ Lee skipping down the ring. She's kind of soaking it up when she first got there. She was kind of looking like doing a typical hand behind her back, being like, oh, and just kind of sussing the atmosphere. You saw the crazy in her eyes. You love it. It just reminds everyone of, especially me. Reminds me of my childhood of AJ Lee coming up into WWE. And yeah, she kind of soaked it in, skipped down the ring. But another thing I loved is the face of Seth and the face of Becky. And the face of Punk as well, because he's so smug. He was like this, knew his wife was coming out. His wife comes out. The crowd is crazy for her to come out. And yeah, it was fantastic stuff. And without further doubt, I loved the fact that AJ Lee came in on smoke. Now, a lot of people online have been saying, oh, her wrestling was a bit weak. Oh, the fresh press didn't look believable. The punches didn't look believable. Shut up, man. It was fantastic. I love it. It was incredible just to see her back. Because there was very much a chance that she would never come back again. Very much a chance to never come back again with neck injuries and the Punk situation. But seeing the Punk situation fixed, and we've obviously seen from someone like Edge or Kurt Angle that, you have a neck injury. It's not the end of your career. You will have to be away for a while. Also, Daniel Bryan, for example, as well. You could be away for a while, but you can have a second run. And then people did have a second run. Bryan Danielson had an incredible run in AEW and WWE when he came back. Edge had a good run in WWE and then went to AEW and still had an incredible run. Kurt Angle came back and had an incredible run. So I don't see anything wrong with the punches and stuff like that. It was all going to be getting hyped. It was all going to be great anyway. No one was going to really care because we've seen AJ Lee in a WWE ring for the first time in 10 years. It's incredible stuff. And that kind of topped it off a little bit with basically Becky ending up pussying out Rudy, getting out the ring, Seth helping her out. And she was Punk and AJ Lee shared a moment, basically hugging. AJ Lee jumped on the CM Punk, which is pretty funny. Give him a fat kiss. We love to see it. And it was incredible stuff. And that then led to what we're going to see. A tag team match at Wrestlepalooza. That was basically the start of it. Basically, the build up to it before the Raw announcement, which we're going to get to in a second. But yeah, this was basically kickstarting that mixed tag team match that we're going to see at Wrestlepalooza that I can't wait for. Because, we're going to have 4 credible wrestlers in one ring. And the roof's going to go off. And someone returning is just incredible. As much as AJ Lee's stature is incredible. So watch this space. It's going to be really, really good. For that reason alone, I have to rate this SmackDown a 9 out of 10. I can't give it a 10 because it was completely perfect. There was obviously some matches I'm could have took a miss. But that AJ Lee return was a massive part to why I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So, yeah, incredible stuff. And it's so good to see AJ Lee back in the WWE ring. And that kind of followed on to Raw, which we're going to get into now, where they were building up AJ Lee's return for the first time in 10 years by showing our highlights on SmackDown, showing the promo here and there, and that was a great package to start the show, basically. That was literally the warm-up before we got into the actual show itself. So, incredible stuff. 1 second. So then, after that AJ Lee package, we saw Jey Uso make his entrance in the crowd, doing a yay, yay, of course, as he always does, greeted by fans. And not only that, Jey was obviously eating a lot on his way to the ring, but he was joined by his brother. When's the last time we saw Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso together? Long time. Too long. But the Usos then did the yeet together in the entrance. I thought that was nice, little segment. It's pretty good. And then they basically just saw a replay of last week, which was obviously Jimmy Uso coming to Jey Uso's aid against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They were basically doing a little promo. Really good promo, the Usos. Basically like, I'm going to beat your ass. And then the Vision come out. Of course they come out. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed interrupted the promo. And basically, chatting. Next thing you know it, they get into a brawl. And decent brawl. Nice little decent brawl. But what kind of added the little element of spice to it was LA Knight then showed up and attacked Reed and Breaker in the aisle. And it was nice because we got 3 baby faces basically getting the advantage of 2 heels. Which obviously makes sense, you know, it's 3-3-2. But we obviously see a lot of times that the heels are overpowering the faces a lot. We've seen it a lot recently. I think obviously we could highlight more with Seth and Punk. We've seen that more often, that heels are dominating right now. And even like Cena, Brock, heels are dominating right now. But yeah, it's good to have a storyline like this. And also it made sense. Because I was thinking, why is LA Knight there? But it didn't make sense that he was actually there. It added something else again to this. But he's not going to be in the match at Wrestlepooza. And yes, there is a match at Wrestlepooza. We're going to see a tag team match where the Usos are going to reunite against the Vision. Which, I can't be against that. I love that. Usos back. Again, Jay's had his title run now. He's had 2 title runs. He's had the Intercontinental Championship and then he's had the World Championship. He has gone a bit stale. He needed something else to do. And LA Knight obviously has nothing to do really. He's not involved in the match as per yet. He might be involved in some point. It gives Jimmy something to do. It gives Braun and it gives Bronson something to do. It gives all of the wrestlers something to do whilst, you know, Punk is feuding with Seth. So yeah, it was really good. And I expected that tag match to happen. I didn't know in what vicinity it would happen. I thought probably at some point it would have been Jay and LA Knight, but it's not. It's going to be the Usos versus the Vision, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be flipping fantastic. The next thing we then saw was an AJ Styles promo. He was basically speaking about his getting cost. El Grande Americana costing AJ the IC title the week before because obviously God Americano got involved and Dom got his regular cheap win. And yeah, the match was okay. Like the match was really good, but I think the highlight was really the ending, and it kind of just solidifies my love for AJ Styles. I'm a big lover of AJ Styles. A person that can mix high-flying and striking ability and brawling ability as well at times. Quick movement, I love it. But he basically did an incredible counter. He's basically going for the pin. And then didn't go for the pin. Went for a Styles Clash instead. And obviously it just, again, shows you how technically incredible AJ Styles has been his whole career. And it was actually decent to have him in a match against a Gran Americana because I think they complemented each other well. What I loved pretty much at the end though, and this kind of I think was the build Triple A that was going to be on tonight, is that Dragon Lee came out and actually helped AJ get the win in some way. Basically distracted and Gran Americano to then get AJ to do the pin attempt and then the Styles Clash for the win. And they actually shook hands at the end. AJ Styles and Dragon Lee shook hands at the end, and I actually really liked that, to be fair. I just loved it purely for that segment at the end. That little segment of the match at the end was incredible stuff. Top tier wrestling. And yes, AJ Styles won by pinfall, which is expected, you know. I didn't see anything different. And it was, again, the first match we've seen tonight. Well, the first match we saw on Raw that night. The next match was Raquel Rodriguez. She was joined by Roxanne Perez, of course she was, and it was against Lila Valkyria. And it was actually a pretty good match. I rate Lila a bit more now. She's getting to her own as a single star bit. She was selling that back injury really well throughout the match. It was obviously Raquel using all her power, and obviously that power then led to a win. I think at some point, you know, Raquel and Roxanne, they're both incredible wrestlers, but I see at some point that Roxanne's going to be separated and Raquel's going to be separated. And we might see a little feud between the two of them. We're going to see them two get separated and basically have single pushes. I think Raquel's having hers now. And yeah, I'd love to see it. And I think it is probably time for Raquel to get a push of some sort because she's been around the title picture. She is a good wrestler. Yeah, she's pretty dominant. There's a lot of other wrestlers that she could compete against. And I think what highlighted to me that she's a really good wrestler was Night of Champions against Rhea Ripley. That was a really good match. Probably one of the best matches I've seen her wrestle. And by the talks of it, obviously you see that Raquel Rodriguez got the win from tonight. And yeah, really, really good stuff. I really, really love it. Then, we got to, again, AJ Lee. AJ Lee made her first appearance for 10 years on Raw. And she ran the women's Intercontinental title while doing it, which again, just lives up to that craziness. I forgot to add, on SmackDown at the end, CM Punk was like, all right, there's a title left in the ring. And she was like, oh, okay. And he was like, do you want it? And she was like, yeah. And she took it. And then she wore it on her entrance down the ring in Raw, in her classic attire. Yeah, it was a good promo. She explained, obviously, she's 38. She's around the tire. She's around a similar age to other wrestlers in the company. She's in great shape, which is good to hear. Again, her neck problems. And the fans were loving it up. They were like, welcome back, chants. Thank you, AJ. And yeah, basically, she was soaking it up. And we love to see that. And she obviously did thank the crowd as well, which gave it extra caveat to it. However, of course, Becky Lynch came and interrupted. I love the fact that Becky Lynch was wearing her glasses because she got a black eye. Yeah, she's basically was like, this has nothing to do with Punk and Seth. It has something to do with me and you. Obviously, Becky got a heel heat again, calling the fans in Milwaukee stupid. And she basically was like, I want my title. Why the hell are you wearing my title? Get that title off me. And basically she was like, yeah, Lee was basically like, yeah, we're not the same. We're not the same. I'm a reason you are here. I'm a pioneer of this. Then she got more heat. Again, she was yelling at a fan. Basically doing that, I'm the greatest woman of all time, greatest female wrestler of all time. I'm the best women's wrestler of all time, the best champion of all time. I'm the man. And she said, funny enough, I think this is a pretty good heel here again. She's like, oh, I need to go to therapy for how bad you've treated me, how bad you've hurt me. Which is valid, to be honest with you. I think it was good little heel heat. I think, again, as I said previously, Becky really is lapping it up. She's really loving this heel run. And I think it's working for not just her. It's working for Seth. It's working for Punk to do something with Seth and the Punk feud. Because, again, that's a WrestleMania match waiting to happen, Seth and Punk. But to add AJ Lee in the mix and just add her into the scenario of WWE in this way in a mixed tag match at Wrestlepoolza, just really, really good. But the segment wasn't done. No. We actually then saw the World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, come out. And he made his entrance. Everyone singing his song, of course. And he actually joined his wife in the aisle when she was doing a promo. And actually had the cheek to then go in the ring. Basically, started bashing AJ Lee. And being like, why the hell have you took my wife's title? Give me my wife's title back. And yeah, when he got in the ring, he basically was like, I want it back. The title doesn't belong to you. It's my wife's. This was all good until, of course, we had the cult of personality. The best in the world. Chicago-made CM Punk coming out. His music playing. Everyone laughing up again, of course. He actually walked behind Becky and then got into the ring. And then straight away, with aggression, tried to get a GTS on Rollins. Rollins slipped off. And yeah, that basically was the setup to Wrestlepalooza match. From there, they announced that, yeah, that would be a match of Wrestlepalooza, that mixed tag match, which I spoke about earlier. So yeah, it was really good to see AJ back. really good segment. I think it was really really heartfelt. And again, just a really good storyline that's going between the four of them right now, and I just can't wait to see how much more we're going to get out of them. So the next match then was Penta versus Rusev. So clearly Rusev and Sheamus feud is done now. It's for Rusev to move something on to someone else, and that other person is Penta. Now, I'm a bit weird with this Penta thing because obviously Penta's he's come in dominant, but he's lost quite a few matches. I thought he'd be Intercontinental Champion. I thought he'd be World Champion. I thought he'd be fighting for them titles, but he's not actually been doing much right now. He's actually getting a lot of losses. And I think, funny enough, again, it was a short match, so I can't really give you much more than that. But what I think we need to see is Rey Fenix and Penta now. Obviously, Rey Fenix was Andrade on SmackDown, but we need to give Penta something to do. We need to give Penta meaningful wins because Penta's incredible. We all know that, but he's not been given enough. He's not given enough to do. And I think it's time for him to basically move over to SmackDown. Again, do a draft. Do a draft. It's time to do a draft. You need to do one. Come on, Triple H. But yeah, Penta just needs to get some meaningful wins because he's an incredible wrestler. And he's not getting shown enough that he is an incredible wrestler. Which highlighted enough in this match because Rusev actually got the win. Which is, I don't know how to feel necessarily about that. I know Rusev has obviously been booked dominant. Basically, again, that Bulgarian brute. But yeah, I just don't see what they do with Penta. I mean, if it's a Penta Rusev feud we're going to see now, great. But I realistically need to see Penta win that feud. I need to see him because Penta should be way higher in the card than he is. He's doing a bit of nothing right now, and it's not good. So, I forgot to mention, and this helps the next match, there was a little segment between Nikki Bella and Asuka earlier on in the match, and basically, Nikki Bella came to Asuka being like, you're not being nice to other women wrestlers. No shit, she's a heel. But that then led to being like, right, I'm not being nice, I'll show you I won't be nice to you. And then we saw, therefore, a match set up between Asuka, she was joined by Kairi Sane as well, another member of the Kabuki Warriors, and Nikki Bella, the Japanese baddies, versus Nikki Bella. Yes, so Asuka came out following the promo section, and yeah, the match was okay. It was an okay match. Yeah, there was moments where it was like, yeah, it's good. Moments where Nikki had momentum. Moments where Asuka had momentum. But I only ever really saw one person winning. Purely for the fact is that Nikki was always going to get outnumbered in some way. Yeah, it was also building up momentum that Asuka might turn heel on Io Sky, which is pretty interesting, to be honest with you. Again, we're still waiting to see who's going to be the new women's champion between Stephanie Valkyrie and I can't remember. It'll drop my head. I wish these are moments I wish Will was here because he was dropping my head. But we're still waiting basically for a new women's champion, which I think will be Stephanie Valkyrie. Even though she's hardly been on TV, by the way, if you've not realised. So she's in the title match, but she's hardly been on TV. I don't understand. But this losing streak gimmick that basically Nikki Bella's getting is a joke because Asuka got her in the Asuka lock. Nikki tapped out. It was for about 10, 11 minutes match. And yeah, as I said, Nikki might be having a Cena right now. Just losing matches and getting, oh, I'm sorry, Nikki, heat from it. But yeah, Asuka won by submission. And yeah, again, making Asuka look strong. Asuka obviously has been away for a while. She got injured. She come back. She hadn't done much. But now she's doing some stuff. She's doing some shit. And it's good to see. And I love to see it. So yeah, let's watch this space. Let's see how much more that rivalry continues. And let's see how much more this story goes in the women's division. But finally, we reached the last match of the night. Again, another match that we kind of set up earlier. It was going to see LA Knight versus Bronson Reed, and obviously Bronson Reed was joined by his Vision colleague. I was about to say conglomerate colleague, Braun Breaker. Obviously, again, settled from earlier, and it was a solid match. It was like strong enough for a main event. It made sense again for storyline reasons. It just made sense for it to happen, and obviously, he's not going to be in the match at Wrestlepalooza LA Knight. So it made sense for the ending of this match. And this ending of this match basically saw Bronson Reed pick up the win, which we haven't seen very often. Bronson Reed pick up wins. You know, he lost at Clash in Paris against Roman. And apart from the visionary being Seth Rollins, no one's really been booked really good in the Vision. So it's actually good to see Bronson Reed pick up a win for once, because he's not picking up any wins. But that wasn't the best bit. The best bit was at the end. And all the guys came out, basically. Jay came out. Jimmy came out. LA Knight was already in the ring. And it was funny. LA Knight was basically chatting some shit to Jay after, you know, the 3-on-2 demolished Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And I loved Jey Uso's spear on LA Knight. That was brutal. Pretty brutal. Came out of nowhere as well. But to be honest with you, LA Knight was chatting some shit in Jey Uso's ear. And I probably would have speared him like that too. And Jimmy was looking like, damn, you've destroyed him like that. And it was an incredible end to a pretty decent Raw. And that's why I'm probably going to rank this Raw about an 8. Again, AJ Lee helps. The match's qualities were good. I think the AJ match was good. I think the match at the end was, again, a solid match, good enough for a main event. I thought that the Raquel Rodriguez, the Light of Akira match was decent. And again, a lot of stuff is just building for WrestlePalooza. I expected it to be the case. It's going to continue being like that. And it's incredible stuff. And yeah, watch this space, guys. We're only 8 days away. So we obviously have SmackDown tonight. We have Raw. And then WrestlePalooza. So I can't wait to see what happens, guys. It's going to be really, really good. But now, I think on the last 10 or 15 minutes, probably even less, to be honest, we're going to go through the news of the week. Raw is actually going to be starting at 12 a.m. moving forward. It's a really good thing. It actually means that we actually get Raw an hour earlier. I know that at some point they might change it again, but for now it's good. For now it is actually a good thing. It doesn't really matter when they do a 7 a.m. shift, but it matters when I do a 12 p.m. shift. So I love it. It's a good idea. And yeah, it gets Raw to finish earlier. And, you know, again, more people can watch it before, you know, they need to get to sleep. WrestleMania 43 to be in Saudi Arabia. Now, there's a few caveats of this. This will be the first WrestleMania outside of the States. Number 1. 2. We've seen WWE try this for ages. Get basically WrestleMania out of the United States. We've also seen that they've tried to build multiple times big pay-per-views, aka Crown Jewel, Night of Champions, in Saudi. And it's worked well. You know, there's been some controversial Crown Jewels. We know the ones, 2019. But, yeah. I thought Night of Champions, it kind of changed my mind on Saudi in terms of the crowd and everything. And obviously, they're part of TKO. So Riyadh season was always going to be a thing that was always going to happen eventually. But for them to host a WrestleMania in Saudi, I'm not sure about it. And I'm not sure about it because I'm a Brummie. Not only a Brummie, I'm an Englishman. And I want to see WrestleMania in London. Our first episode we ever made on this podcast was we want to see WrestleMania in London. We've seen Triple H have talks with the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, about having WrestleMania in London. But now, hearing rumors that it might be elsewhere. I just don't know how much I feel good about it. Obviously, again, Saudi crowd has got better. It's grown on me a little bit. But, and obviously the politics around Saudi, of course, we've covered it loads of times. And I get why as a company they're doing it, but I'm just not completely with it. Because I just generally think the first place you should have WrestleMania is in Europe, a European country, and I think it should be England because we have the best crowds outside the US. I can't lie to you, Saudi's good, but it might be my bias talking, but I generally think we have the best crowds outside the US. So for them to think of doing WrestleMania 43 in Saudi, I don't know how much I like it. We do get an earlier WrestleMania, I guess, early in my time. But yeah, I'm just not 100% with it. I'm not 100% for it. I just don't know what I like. But again, I do not have the control over that. Triple H, people in TKO do. So watch this space. Also, funny enough, there's rumors that we're going to see one or two people return to WWE at Wrestlepoolza. So far, we've seen rumors of Dean Ambrose. I covered it last week and I think the week before. That I'm not surprised if it's Dean Ambrose, John Moxley from AEW now. There was also the thing that, it could be Edge, Adam Cope, that comes back. But there is heavy rumors now that the returning wrestler is either going to be Chris Jericho or Paige. Now Chris Jericho comes back. He's been wrestling for a while. I think if he does come back, it's going to be kind of a final run thing. And I'm going to retire. And retire where I kind of made myself even bigger, First undisputed WWE champion. Multiple times been in WWE, come out. I think of, when he first came in, Raw is Jericho, Chris Jericho. Then we saw mid-2000s Chris Jericho, which is basically Intercontinental Champion on crack. He was a really dominant Intercontinental Champion. I think he still holds the title for the most Intercontinental Championships. Then we saw 2008 World Champion Chris Jericho with the suit, which I think is probably my favourite version of Chris Jericho. Arrogant, cocky heel was fantastic. And then, Chris Jericho's always been able to make himself again. The list. Obviously what he's been doing in AEW. And yeah, I would grant it. I would like it. But I know it's only for a retirement run. So I don't expect it to be a massive thing. And I think if he does come back, who's going to be his opponent? Who's going to be the person that's going to go in that feud with him to that retirement match? He might not retire. He might carry on for another 2-3 years. But I think if he does come back, it's going to be the end soon. So just watch this space. Paige, on the other hand, I think Paige has a lot of life left in her in the WWE. I think, especially seeing AJ Lee return, that a Paige return is not unlikely. It's possible. And I think if Paige does return, which she's been a while WWE, she's been out of WWE for coming up to, again, almost 10 years. There's going to be a massive pop for her. And I can't lie to you, we might get an AJ Lee Paige match. We might get a rerun. It'd be good to see Paige back. Also formerly known as Saraya in AEW. And again, another thing I've kept on saying for this pod, but watch this space. Things could happen. Things could evolve. Things might be evolving right now whilst I'm speaking to you. And if it has, then wow. But yeah, incredible stuff. And the final news I have for you this week, is this thing about Wade Barrett leaving. It turns out there was a rumor that Wade Barrett was actually leaving the desk because we saw Corey Graves and Michael Cole on SmackDown for AJ Lee's return. Just to confirm, that is false. Very, very false. Very, very false. My favourite Pedro Neto impression there. No, he's not leaving. It's a fake rumor. Basically, Wade Barrett's just taking some time out. And fair play, because he's a workhorse. And he deserves a long break. So it's very much just a long break. And Graves and Cole will not be replacing him permanently. He will be back at some stage. We don't know when. But just let him man enjoy his break, man. Let him enjoy his break. Stop making fake rumors that he's going to leave. He's not leaving. He's just taking that break. And I think it's very, very justified. And yeah, just let him chill out. Let him enjoy himself. But yeah, that's pretty much everything from the pod tonight. Today. It's been a pretty good pod. I've obviously missed my partner, Will, but he will be back next week, and it will be the Two Man Wrestling Podcast instead of the One Man Wrestling Podcast that we've had this week. Another thing I'm going to plug. Please, if you haven't already, watch our first ever special guest on the podcast. We interviewed Stephen Flo last week. It was a really good podcast. We really enjoyed it. We did a blind ranking with him about theme songs. We talked about his life. We talked about how he started in the industry, his favourite wrestler, his favourite opponents, favourite venue, why he sees himself for the future. So please, if you have not watched that podcast already, you've got to. You're missing out. You're missing out. And also, just for a caveat, that's also Stephen Flo's ever longest interview. And he did it with us as a first ever guest. So, again, go and watch it. It was an incredible podcast. It was funny as hell. And you will enjoy it. I'm telling you, you will enjoy it. And if you enjoyed his podcast, you also know that there's going to be other guests that we're going to plan and get on the show soon. We've got a couple of them cooking. Got a couple of them cooking in the head, a couple in the mind, and on messages, texts. So please, if you haven't already, stay tuned to more guests on the Two Man Wrestling Podcast. And also, please continue to grow our YouTube, Spotify, and of course, I know you guys have been supporting our Insta and TikTok, but keep going ham. Keep going ham, guys. We're so close to getting good figures on them platforms. I think we want a bit more Spotify viewers, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. We're going to keep pushing it, of course. We're going to keep giving you content, of course. And, yeah, YouTube as well. YouTube, keep pushing that. We're going to keep going with that. And, again, keep giving you that content that you desperately, desperately need and want. I have done a little SmackDown preview for tonight. So please, look at that too. Follow all our channels. Follow all our socials. Follow me and Will. More importantly, just follow the Two Man Wrestling Podcast. I will be back next week with Will. And it's going to be a good one because it's going to be the build-up to Wrestlepoolza on the last Raw SmackDown. It's called Wrestlepoolza. The first event between WWE and ESPN. It gives me the vibe of it's going to be something like a SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble. Not WrestleMania, it can never be WrestleMania. But it's giving me that same type of feel, and I'm bigging it up. So, and especially because a couple of wrestlers are coming back. So, we're going to have a great podcast next week. And again, it will be the both of us. So, I love to see you all there next week. And on that note, I'm going to say goodbye. Love and blessings, everyone. And of course, as we always have to do, as we end the podcast, I'll see you next week. Yeah!